Welcome to today's video, where we'll be exploring the incredible story of John, a man who had a near-death experience and returned to life with a newfound understanding of the universe. John's journey to the other side and back is a powerful reminder that there may be more to life than what we can see and touch. Before we begin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Okay, let's begin. John had always been a healthy man. He exercised regularly, ate a healthy diet, and never smoked. So when he was suddenly overcome by a crushing pain in his chest, he was stunned. He soon realized that he was having a heart attack, and he prayed that he wouldn't die. But despite his prayers, John's heart stopped beating, and he died. However, his journey was far from over. Instead of slipping into an abyss of darkness, John found himself on a journey through a brilliant light. It was like nothing he had ever experienced before. He felt as though he was floating through a universe of love, surrounded by radiant colors of every hue. As he continued down the pathway towards the light, he felt as though his soul was lifted to an entirely new level of consciousness. All his earthly pain melted away, and he was overwhelmed by the sense of peace and tranquility that surrounded him. He felt like he was in the presence of a loving and accepting presence. For what felt like hours, John floated on this ethereal plane, enveloped in an aura of pure love. It was the most beautiful and powerful feeling he had ever experienced. Then he heard a voice calling to him, beckoning him to return. John knew he had to go back, but he didn't want to leave the beauty and peace of the other side. Yet, as he looked back at the radiant light, John had a profound realization. He was not alone. He was just as much a part of the light as the light was of him. With this understanding, John was renewed, and he knew that he had to return to the physical world. Suddenly, he awoke to find himself in the hospital bed. The doctors had managed to revive him, but they were amazed by what happened next. John's heart immediately began beating again, and he was alive. John knew he had experienced something extraordinary, something that was beyond words. His brush with death had caused him to look at life in a whole new way, and he was grateful for his newfound understanding. He knew that death was not to be feared, but rather embraced. He thanked God for his second chance and for the incredible journey that awaited him when his time eventually comes. John had always been a man of science, a realist who believed that everything could be explained by empirical evidence. But his experience on the other side changed everything. He began to question his previous beliefs about the nature of reality and opened his mind to the possibility of there being something beyond what we can see with our physical senses. As he lay recuperating in the hospital, John spent hours recounting his experience to anyone who would listen. Some of the nurses and patients dismissed it as the delusions of a dying man, but others were fascinated by his story. One nurse, in particular, spent long hours listening to John's account of the other side, asking questions and sharing her own beliefs about the afterlife. Over time, John's experience became a catalyst for change in his life. He decided to leave his high-stress corporate job and instead focus on bringing happiness and positivity to others. He became a volunteer at a local hospice, spending time with terminally ill patients and offering them comfort and companionship during their final days. John also began to explore his own spirituality, attending meditation classes and reading books about near-death experiences and the afterlife. He realized that his experience on the other side had opened a door to a whole new dimension of reality, one that was filled with love and light, and he was determined to share that joy and peace with as many people as he could. It wasn't always easy. John's newfound beliefs were often met with skepticism and even ridicule by some of his old friends and colleagues. But he didn't let that discourage him. He understood that everyone's journey was unique and that his experience might not resonate with everyone, but he also knew that his story had the potential to inspire and uplift others in their own search for deeper meaning and purpose. One day, John was invited to speak at a local spiritual center about his near-death experience. He was nervous but excited to share his story with a wider audience. As he stepped up to the podium, he scanned the faces of the audience, a diverse group of people of different ages, backgrounds, and faiths. He took a deep breath and began. For the next hour, John spoke from the heart, sharing his journey from doubt and disbelief to faith and wonder. He told them about the incredible light and love he had experienced on the other side and how it had changed him in ways he could never have imagined. He urged them to keep an open mind and to embrace the possibility that there might be more to life than what we can see and touch. As he finished speaking, the room was filled with a sense of awe and wonder. Many of the people there approached him afterward, thanking him for sharing his story and telling him how much it had meant to them. For John, it was a moment of validation, a confirmation that his experience had real meaning and value for others. In the years that followed, John continued to live his life guided by his newfound spiritual beliefs. He never forgot the gift he had been given, the opportunity to glimpse the other side and to return to this life with a renewed sense of purpose and meaning. And he never stopped sharing his story, knowing that it had the power to inspire and uplift others just as it had done for him. John's story teaches us that death is not to be feared, but rather embraced as a natural part of the cycle of life. His experience shows us that there is a beautiful light waiting for us on the other side, and that love and peace are the cornerstones of that world. May his story inspire us all to embrace life with gratitude, joy, and purpose, knowing that we are all connected to something greater than ourselves. Thank you for watching and listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.